Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Once again, it is time for a full body workout, but a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like down below, we greatly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed or following, please do so. And if you'll be kind enough to drop me a comment down below, I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. So let's get over into the training. I'm going to be talking a lot more about the silver and golden era of bodybuilding. I don't like to use the word classic because that's been kind of tarnished with the IFBB and their strange modern that still doesn't look anything like classic bodybuilding. But what I'm going to do, as I'm getting leaner, I'm going to keep working on this cut. You guys see all the cardio vlogs I'm doing. I did 4 hours yesterday of walking on camera fasted. As I get leaner, get down under 200 pounds, I want to focus more and more on those sort of ideals. Doesn't mean I'm completely abandoning powerlifting. I think people forget that. I'll still get my squat way back up and everything. But while I'm cutting right now, yeah, my squatting is getting tough. So those are literally limit sets. So with the amount of cardio I'm doing, yeah, the squats are going down and I can live with that. And I've also kind of accepted that if I want that look, those guys built their legs with just squats just fine all through that era. They really didn't do the crazy amount of delt obsession that people have today. They also didn't use all the drugs. And I think that's also a dead giveaway as to how much gear someone is usually using, is how big their delts are in proportion to other stuff, right? The guys who use very, very little stuff, modest amounts, don't ever get the crazy delts. The guys who don't pin their delts don't get the crazy delts. But realistically, I've done tons and tons of delt work already. I feel like I don't really want to do any. I don't think it's conducive to that look. It's going to be a very, very serious. Obviously, you want to keep a lat focus, but my lats are already quite possibly my best upper body muscle. But you want pecs, you want arms. And I mean really a focus on things like bench press and dips. All those guys did tons of benching. And I think that's a big difference. How many of the modern guys, well, I don't think the bench is the best for chest. And then realistically, you look at some of them, it's like, how can you be that big and have pecs smaller than Arnold and Franco? Literally, your chest is smaller than theirs. And your delts are like triple their size. So again, just pointing out, all those guys did a lot of relatively wide benching, fairly flat back, and they all had big, broad, thick chests. Like their chest, when you look at the front, the chest was the dominant muscle, and they all did pullovers and vacuums. So I've been doing, started adding vacuums back in. I can only do them when I'm fasted. In the evening, because I do intermittent fasting, I eat so much fiber I can't do them, right? High fiber diet in the evening. Deadlift's the same thing. I'm just like, let me just take a set of 405 to failure. Like with a lot of this right now, I've realized with the amount of cutting, I'm not going to be able to handle the big tonnages. So let's just focus on gaining muscle, retaining muscle. So in my case, let's just do the reps we can handle with the squat and deadlift. Start the workouts with them. This is enough for the lower body with what I'm doing. And if people say, well, keep in mind, all right, I didn't squat for over a year. Went back and could barely squat low 400s, and you guys watched me build up to 500 plus and watched me do 605 on a cambered bar. You guys have seen me do like a 550 high bar after that. I can rebuild a squat. Not that worried. With the amount of cardio I'm doing, those are literally limit sets on the lower body, and that's okay. I still have big legs. Yes, they might lose a little bit. Some of it is losing fat, by the way. People don't realize how much fat we have in the lower body still. So as I get leaner, yeah, it's going to get a little smaller, and that's okay. I may add some calf work back in coming up. Right, I took it out a little bit this week, but part of me is going, I could work it back in at the ends, at the end of the training. But the trick is, have to figure out what all I want to do. These workouts are getting along, and I still want to be able to do fasted cardio afterwards on these same days. Although, with 4 days off to do 3-4 hours like that, we get plenty there. So it's figuring out what I want to be able to work in and recover while on the big cut I'm doing right now. As the deficit gets smaller, and we maybe don't worry about as much cardio, we can get away with more. And I'll put shots up of a lot of this stuff. I took some screenshots of the lower back and everything. Everything is definitely getting tighter, and the belt's getting looser. So I'm showing a little more of that. And eventually, I might start doing all beltless training eventually, which might mean squats and deadlifts are without a belt. Be different. The benching though, so what do? I'm like, let's just work with 225. I'm just going to do soft touch and go. I don't necessarily need to pause, But notice that it's very soft touch and go, so it's all chest. I'm doing a wide grip, pinkies just outside the rings. I'm flat back. I mean, there's a little bit of tightness set in there, but we're flat back. This is very much old school bodybuilder benching. All right, I got 3 sets of 12 with 225. You guys notice I failed on these. So we get down to rep 12 and I go to, it pauses because I know I don't have another rep. And I just let it come down. I'm like, we're done. Because it doesn't, I'm not breaking it off the chest, it's not getting power. So it's failing right there. And that's okay. And I will point out, some people are like, you don't grind. I'm like, yeah, I don't grind. My bar speed's slow. I'm very fast, very explosive. You guys have watched my max squats and stuff. They're super fast. So here's a side chest. So I did hit a vacuum with that, obviously. I've been doing those in the mornings. So again, I want to continue to work on doing the vacuums, and I'm working the pullovers back in because I do feel like that was a critical part of those physiques. But again, this is very much looking like some old school, definitely looking like silver era type bodybuilder, early golden era. If you look at what this workout looks like, we did 3 sets of squats, right? Just normal straight up back squats as deep as we can go. All this stuff to failure, like they did set of deadlifts, 3 sets of bench. But notice the benching, very bodybuilder. Now, does that mean I won't have a big power bench? No, this will be good. Again, if we can flat back with no leg drive, sets of 12 with 225, right? No cheating, no leg drive, no arch. I think we're good. Like, no problem. Just mogging over 315 for reps when I set up a bit of an arch and everything. I'm not worried. Even for me, I can extrapolate that over. 12 with 225 for me. My bench may be actually up. I don't know. So the upper body's doing really well, and I think the dips and stuff are helping. So right now, it's a decision I had to make. It's always torn between chin-ups and pull-ups, and here's my thoughts. My biceps are still probably my worst upper body muscle. Right? My lats are my best. Now, we want to keep emphasizing and doing the lat work, but realistically, we know my arms need to grow. So I'm like, look, this will save me from having to live on tons and tons of extra curls while cutting. Let's just do chins, right? Do chins to failure. You know, so I got like eight reps on all of them that failed. It's a 25-pound plate, but I'm going all the way up. So for me, this works pretty well. Again, looking at my back, looking at my lats there, guys, I'm not worried about that getting smaller. I keep that back forever. I'm good. Like, especially if I get down to 190, or what if I dropped to 185 and I still have those lats? Come on, we're not worried about that, right? And plus we're doing pullovers too and deadlifts. So the chins, it's like, let's double down on the bicep work, and it's a full range of motion because it's again, we're dealing with the biarticulated aspects of the bicep because it does work the shoulder part too. And then I do the same thing on the curls coming up. So we do a big compound and then we isolate it. Pretty much biceps are the only thing I'm going to isolate right now. The only thing I feel the need to, because the triceps, I'm doing so much tricep work. If we don't even count the things like chins towards the long head, I got 9 sets of triceps today. If we count bench. If we don't count the bench, it's still 6. It's going to be 18 sets a week. If we don't count bench or chins in any way towards triceps. All right, dips, the same thing. I'm like, I wanted to get the reps a little higher, but I want to really focus on starting in that bottom position. And I'm trying to lock out. So notice what I'm doing here versus before, just taking the natural position when I do the chest type dip. Because I want the chest, so I want that forward lean, that deep stretch. I'm on the widest V bars. But as I get to the top, yeah, it's harder. I'm trying to focus on leaning the torso forward to lock it, to make sure we double down on that tricep work. So for me, it's getting the longest range of motion I can on dips. It took me a little work to even get this deep. If I can get them deeper, hey, great. But notice I failed right there on that rep. So we got sets of 10. So again, the idea, again, notice my tricep pump though at that front. So triceps are coming along. And again, as we get leaner, if I can do any extra arm gains over time, I think we're in a good spot. So I'm just going to push the arm work. And I don't care that people say, well, your arms aren't going to grow on that big of a deficit. Don't care. Doesn't mean we don't try. Because here's the other thing. If we push those areas super hard and let's say we lose a little muscle in other places, we won't lose it in the areas we're really pushing that 100% effort in. Plus, there's not that much systemic fatigue with the arm work. So no, I'm going to push the arms, because if nothing else, if I shrink down and I lose a little muscle and the arms keep everything and the waist gets way smaller, we're in a good spot, right? Put me in a good place. So again, we do bench, we do dips, we do pullovers. And I finish up with the pullovers are going to take like 5-6 minutes of the whole day long, because I'm doing so high reps. And I'll talk about those as we get over to those. And yes, I know the curls don't look as good when I do them in the rack. I always do them on the floor because I know with that lighting and camera angle, I look better for some reason. But I'm like, you know what? I just don't want to mess with them on the floor. This workout's tough. I'm just going to do them in the rack and not care. If I really want to look good, I just do the easy bar over on the floor, that close grip. It creates a fake look. I look so much more jacked. But let's worry about what's going to build muscle. And this might be the worst camera angle and lift, but it doesn't matter. It's easy to set up. So it does. If I just get bigger and leaner, that won't matter either, will it? So these, just taking them up to my full range of motion, we took them to failure. Now people will notice on that left elbow, they'll say, you're not locking out. I'm like, no, I literally am. I can't go any further. Sorry. Like, you guys, and I've demonstrated multiple times as far as my elbow goes. Nothing I can do about it. So I've had people say, well, it looks like you're compensating. It doesn't matter. It's literally my full range of motion. So unless you guys can figure out how to fix that, or you got a surgeon who would love to do it for free and guarantee it won't interfere with a week of my lifting, then great. But if I got to take time off from training to go have some surgery, I don't think so. So who cares? So I just train it, right? Keep in mind that bicep has been reattached years ago. But keep pushing the curls here, right? Take them to failure. I did a little rest pause on this last set. I got like 12 reps because I got to 10. I'm like, let me take a couple seconds. Let's go a little harder. All right, why? Because my biceps are my worst muscle. We could argue that rest pause doesn't do anything, and that's okay. It's my final set. I'm just going to push the biceps hard. Push the biceps hard. Right? I need them to grow. So, be a CT Fletcher, I command you to grow. Right? So we did, again, 3 sets of chins, 3 sets of curls, trying to do them through the nice full range of motion, taking them to failure. So that will give me 18 sets. Now, could I always throw some incline curls and stuff back in? Sure. But I can only handle so much volume. That's the real downside. Saying, I could throw calves and do this other stuff. Guys, this took me over. This is a 2-hour workout. That's what it took me when I looked at the timer. Like, this really take me. How does this take me 2 hours? Maybe it took an hour and a half. I don't know. It just seemed like it took longer than it should have. Might have been less. I think I got started later than I think I did. But pullovers. Did them with the plate. I'm like, I love the pullovers. I feel like the pullovers add a lot. I feel like they do a lot for me, but where did I go wrong? I kept trying to push the weight up and just go, let's treat it like a big move. Let's get to 90 pounds, 95, 100. And then before long, my arm tendons are getting inflamed, when the reality is I need to be focusing on doing them for the stretch. Okay, notice that is my shoulder range of motion. These improved me to even get there. So my thoughts are, instead of trying to push the weight up, let's just work on that stretch. And I think if I just do tons and tons of these into that stretch, hard sets, pause at that stretch and keep hitting it over and over and over, what happens? Well, eventually that should improve, because now we're getting a loaded stretch into our terminal range of motion where we have limitations, and it burns like hell. Like these, like my pecs, my lats, my triceps. I feel a ton of tricep. And when I do them this way too, I feel chest. I definitely feel lat and rear delts, but if I really had to narrow it down, I feel the triceps and the pecs the most, which is what I want. Same thing, see the abs and the intercostals, that's all getting worked. Why does that matter? So let's come over and think about what the look those guys had. Pullovers were pivotal to that era of look, that old school. And then they did vacuums and pullovers. So here I do. You guys see, I'm sorry, it's still a little bit, you can see the love handle and fat there. But notice when I get leaner, because I do a little bit of a vacuum with that, and we lose that last bit of fat as we keep trimming down in that area, because that's, again, you can see the worst of it there, and that's okay. It's going to show it. Be in a good spot there. So the waist will get smaller. I just have to lose the fat. I don't have a big waist genetically. I have a lot of fat and still some loose skin. When once that fat's gone, that tightens up. So we just keep burning through it. Fasted cardio, fasted cardio, fasted cardio diet. I mean, I'm still well over 200 pounds. Get to 190. If we get to 185, well, it'll be gone. We just keep dieting it off. Okay? It's just where I still store it from having been overweight. That's not even a genetic thing. So people will say nonsense like, was that genetic? Well, no, I've just been really fat. So therefore, the loose skin is going to be pulled there, and that's where you're going to store the most fat. It's not even a genetic or hormonal per se. That's a physical. Until you get lean enough that tightens up, it's just going to be there. It's like all other fat. It will diet off eventually, right? And so we're just going to stay the course. That's why I don't care about the squats or whatever. People can say, oh, no, the squat. It's like, I don't care. It's irrelevant. We have to burn that body fat off. I'm worried about that. I'm worried about that waistline more than, oh, no, I can't squat 500 pounds anymore. I probably can't rep out 405 anymore. It doesn't matter. We burn the body fat. We can always rebuild strength. I'm a strength coach. I know how to get strong. I'll rebuild it. These pullovers, man, this was a lot. These high reps, they burned like hell, right? They burn like hell, but they work. And I feel so many muscles on them. And I feel like, again, I've always keep saying I take them out, but I'm like, I feel like they did so much for my shoulder health and mobility. And I know if I keep doing them, they're what's going to let me get my arms fully overhead again. Let me do a double bicep pose again. I can't do a double bicep, by the way. So people say, once you do one, I'm like, I don't think I physically can't do it. I can get one arm up at a time. I can't do both. That's why I need stuff like this. Probably more dead hangs, not bad either. So we keep working it, keep working it over and over and over. We keep doing the fasted cardio, keep the diet on point, burn the body fat, and just stay after it. But we can already see there, if you look at those angles, you see my rib cage size, we see what's up with the lats. So you see that bit of fat around the waistline. What happens when we drop another 10 pounds, another 15 pounds? Okay? Even if I get to 190, that's still like 21. The waist will be small, it'll be tight. And I've got the lats to make it work. I have the lats to make it work and the rib cage. So we just double down on that. But very happy with today's workout. Super happy with it. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.